Hello, everyone. Today we are here to talk about a big change that's happening in our industry, cookieless marketing, and what does it mean for e-commerce. My name is François Rychlewski. I lead the EMEA region for ShareID, and as you may probably guess, I'm French. If you haven't heard about ShareID before, we help brands acquire and verify consumer communities such as students, teachers, healthcare professionals with personalized offers gated by instant verification. We will go through some case studies today, but we work with more than 300 brands across the globe, including the North Face, The Economist, Spotify, or Nike. I'm really excited to be here today with you and with my colleague Bill Schneider. Bill?
Hi, everybody, and thanks, Francois. My name is Bill Schneider, and I'm the VP of Product Marketing at ShareID. And like Francois, I've been in the MarTech industry for several years now, working on different market categories like web analytics, personalization, and customer engagement, all technologies that have historically relied very heavily on third-party cookies. So I'm very excited to turn the page, if you will, and join Francois on today's topic of marketing in a world without cookies. So Francois, over to you. Let's kick this off.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. What we can notice is, customer acquisition is really today as a crossroads, as we said. Digital marketing has been on an upward trajectory for the last 2 decades. Marketers have been rewarded with countless innovation in data, targeting, marketing channels, ad platforms. It's been a bit like a rocket ride to the moon as we have explored new way to sell products. Along the way, customers have gotten more sophisticated in determining who they are going to do with business with. It's no longer just about convenience or selection or even price. To win in today's marketplace, you have to build trust with customers. And while trust is critical to new brand selection and loyalties, it's in a period of crisis as nearly 7 in 10 consumers are actively avoiding messages from brands through ad blockings and cookie deletion. And then this happened. The platform started to respond. Apple started to make changes to their platform that limited their type of data that they are being tracked by default and gave consumer more control over how their data was being shared and used. First, they turned off third-party tracking in-app. It's now opt-in instead of opt-out. Then, they added privacy mail protection, which limits tracking on emails open rates. And they also provided IP masking to limit geo-targeting. And I think, and we think, there may be more to come in the short future.
This is incredibly important because it's a catalyst for the big shift that's happening in marketing today. Personalization has really, as Francois talked about, been a boon for marketers and consumers, but it's been abused because consumers didn't really have any control of their experience. They didn't have any control of the data that they were providing. So it became an approach where consumers felt more like brands were treating them like a target than a new relationship. And so that's why there's this new gold standard that is emerging in the world of data and personalization, where messages and communication is being delivered based off of opt-in data that the consumer is willingly providing in return for something of value. It could be an exclusive offer. It could be a more personalized product selection through a product finder, or it could be more rewards in a loyalty program. The bottom line is that marketers are changing, and they need to change how they collect data and how they use it and communicate with the customer. So to learn more about how marketers were making this shift, we recently polled CMOs in a number of industries to ask them where they were investing. And what we learned is that the areas most important to leading brands to build long-term customer relationships and drive demand isn't about new channels or product differentiation. CMOs are investing in a bigger topic, in a bigger idea where they're working on building trust with consumers. And when we think about trust, obviously privacy is a big component of that. But it isn't just privacy compliance, it's much more than that. What CMOs indicated is that to build trust and win new business, they needed to make investments in better data about their prospective customers. And that meant moving away from third-party data sources. As we can see here from the data point here, 84% had said they were moving away from third-party data to higher quality data sources like first and zero-party data. And we'll talk a little bit about what those distinctions are in just a minute. But it is more also than just data. Trust is also about building credibility through the right sources. And so over the last few years, and the last year in particular, there has been a sense of distrust in typical voices of authority like the media, industry experts, and even institutions. And so CMOs are responding by investing in more programs that are focused on tapping into the communities in which consumers belong. People ultimately look for advice from people that they know. And so 73% of CMOs said they are increasing in investment in customer content and community-based programs to tap into that dynamic. And they're also increasing their investment in earned media channels to have more control over their messaging and improve marketing efficiency. I wanted to also share another relevant study that just came out this month that I just read from Deloitte and Touche on cookieless marketing. And they found that high growth brands are taking the lead in the shift to higher quality first party data environments. In fact, they found in their executive survey that 61% of high growth companies are shifting to a first-party data strategy, while only 40% of negative growth companies say the same. And so this may signal that high-growth organizations more often recognize the pressing need to get ahead of a rapidly changing environment and are doing so by investing in the way that they are collecting information about their customers. So there's been a lot of talk about data so far. And so I thought it would be good to briefly go over some key terms as we look at some of the case examples that we're going to talk about in just a few moments. So the two main terms that I find most people are familiar with are first and third-party data. Third-party data, as we've been talking about, is consumer data that is passively collected from websites, social media, and apps. In essence, it is not data that the consumer is explicitly opting into. And this is the type of data that is being phased out by the major platforms like Apple that we just talked about. First-party data, in contrast, is opt-in, behavior-based, and transaction data collected directly on your digital property. This could be your website or an app, and this is the data that you want to invest in. Now, I also wanted to highlight this concept of zero-party data. This is a newer term that was actually coined by Forrester Research a couple of years ago, as they recognize that there's a new type of data that is emerging and being collected on a brand's website. So unlike first-party data that is essentially just opt-in data and taking a look at clickstream behavior, zero-party data is actual self-attested data from a consumer that is explicitly provided by the consumer to the brand for a more personal experience. And so this is where, somebody might provide information about who they are, what their interests are, the types of decisions that they're planning to make, or what their purchase decisions are. And so this information is very high intent data. And the value here is that it provides a clear value exchange to the consumer, which encourages the consumer to share that information. So here are a couple of different examples of what that might look like. This is the type of information that can really give you a very rich understanding directly from customers about what their interests are. So zero-party data can be collected through things like a quiz. And this example here was from Kellogg's, the consumer packaged goods company, where they provide a quiz on their site to help prospective customers find the best snacks that are for them. This is where Kellogg's learns more about their customers, about their snacking patterns and their interests, and customers, on the other hand, learn about what types of snacks might be best for the types of things that they're doing. Another example are preference centers. This is an example from Yelp that asks how users want to be communicated with and when. There's also product finders like Urban Decay. In this case, they're a makeup brand, a beauty brand, and they have a makeup selector to find the right product for your skin tone. So in each of these cases, the brand is offering up an experience for the customer to learn a little bit more about what types of experiences the brand is offering in exchange for what the consumer is looking for. It can also, the other option here that we're going to spend a little more time on is around personalized offers. And personalized offers are very valuable because it also can be used as a traffic driver. So in every case here, the brand is providing something of value to the consumer. And in exchange for that value, they are requesting some information to provide a better experience back to that consumer. And all of this information is great to add to your profile for re-engagement and to create lookalike groups in media platforms. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about personalized offers and this concept of identity marketing. Personalized offers, they serve two very vital roles. One, they drive demand for immediate revenue. And two, they allow you to collect zero-party data for future marketing. And the approach of personalized offers that I want to talk about is identity marketing. So identity marketing allows you as a brand to create a personalized offer that is gated. In other words, it's protected just for that specific consumer group that you want to attract. And typically this is around somebody's identity, right? That could be their profession or what they're affiliated with, or it might be their life stage, like if they're a college student or a senior. Because these offers are just for them, it activates a powerful psychology of belonging in the consumer. And because the offer is exclusive, it requires consumers to share information about who they are and the communities they belong to receive the offer, giving you valuable customer information that you can then use for remarketing. So Francois, I know you have a couple of examples. Can you share the story with ASICS?
Yeah, A6 is a great example of an exclusive offer that they delivered for runners and the fitness enthusiasts. During COVID, A6 jumped into action by offering discount to reward the people who worked really long and hard hours on the front lines. The company has been manually originally verifying healthcare workers, but the process was running weeks behind with a backlog of nearly 70,000 requests. And i6 works with us, ShareID, to implement an opt-in form that would connect with 9,000 authoritative data sources to verify eligibility of the healthcare worker. That allowed them to promote the offer to the healthcare workers at scale and across their marketing channels. And because the message was clearly focused on one community, those consumers raised their hands, responded to the offer, landing on this page, and shared their information to demonstrate their eligibility. That gave A6 methods to personalize a campaign, to drive engagement, and gain the response without using a third-party cookies. And they saw tremendous impact. As you see on the next slide, in the first 25 days, they had 26,000 orders and 15% of total sales for the month. And the program outperformed typical campaign with 100% conversion increase in conversion. They also saw a $12 net increase in AOV, annual order value. In August, ASICS added a 20% discount for students, just in time for the back-to-school period. And most recently, ASICS extended the 20% discount to teachers too. So why is it working for ASICS and other brands around the world? Identity marketing programs drive first-time and repeat sales because they spark an emotional connection with consumers and build a relationship based on trust. As Bill said, identity marketing allows brands to first activate what we call the word of mouth. So basically, people report that recognizing their consumer community makes them feel honored, make them feel special. It also promotes sharing to others in their network, increasing their social capital, and for the brand, decreasing the cost of acquisition. The second interest is that identity marketing protects the offer to ensure it's authentic. In case that by verifying the eligibility to receive the offer, you demonstrate that it's just for them or their group, their community, which increase the buyer intent. We do this instantly by verifying against 9,000 authoritative data sources worldwide. The third point is identity marketing builds trust in the brand. Prospective consumers opt in to receive the offer with as little as 2 pieces of basic information, such like name or date of birth. PII data is not shared or sold by ShareID. And another great example of one of our customers is Back Market. It's a French-based company who providing high-quality refurbished electronics that helps to reduce what we call e-waste, which is a mission that resonates quite a lot with the Gen Z. And to reach that Gen Z community, they created an exclusive offer for students, which they started with initially with another verification provider. But that provider didn't share the customer data with them, so they just provided a verification service. Back Market soon realized that owning the data collected through the program was critical to drive first-time and repeat sales. They switched to ShareID, which allowed them to remarket to first-time customers. And like ASICS, Back Market saw tremendous result with a 50% conversion lift over the previous program and 18,000 orders. They also saw great social engagement with nearly 1 million videos views on Instagram and YouTube, and they're now thinking about expanding that verification platform to more communities across the globe.
Great. Yeah. So now I wanted to share how that information it can be used for enriching your customer profile. Because as we talked about earlier, there's likely a lot of information that you're already collecting on consumers through opt-in first-party data. And as you, just like in the case of Back Market or ASICS, once you understand that somebody is a healthcare professional potentially, or a student or a teacher, you can use that data to really enrich that customer profile to help market to them and also build lookalike groups for those customers in other platforms to drive further customer acquisition. Now, I wanted to highlight, in this case, a success story that we have with a company called Michaels. Michaels is a arts and crafts retailer with 1,200 locations in the US and Canada. And they use their identity marketing program to add to the first party data that they already have through their loyalty program. Like many retailers, their loyalty program is a critical piece of driving growth. And reactivation and better personalization is something Michaels was looking for. So they took an exclusive offer program like what we offer there, similar to what ASICS did and what Backmarket does, but they included it within their loyalty program. So students, teachers, and seniors that were part of that program could be reactivated. They could learn more about who those consumers actually were. And then they could then remarket to them to stimulate sales. And through this program, they had 200,000 customers activate, which is particularly valuable with teachers who purchase 2 times as much as their Michaels standard customer cohort. So they really saw a lot of value out of that by getting that customer engagement component through the exclusive offer program that they could then drive repeat marketing to. And when they added these offers to their loyalty program, they also had another benefit where these offers and discounts were then available on every channel, dramatically improving the customer experience, which is, as we know, a key driver for growth and customer satisfaction. So with that, I wanted to wrap up here and talk about the 3 recommendations we have for long-term growth for the year ahead as we look towards shifting our data strategy away from third-party cookies. As the marketplace continues to change and is being, quite frankly, reinvented, trust, not just clicks, is the new currency for building relationships and measuring performance for your marketing campaigns. As we've heard and as we've read and seen, consumers have a growing distrust with intermediaries and want to have a direct relationship with their favorite brands. So they are looking for brands to connect with them on their earned channels, and they want personalization on their terms with data that they control. Just like Apple was talking about, that they are shifting their platform, where they want to give consumers more control over their data, and consumers want that. So zero-party data is a way to make that happen. In addition, historical sources of influence like traditional media and third-party experts are losing some of their power. So instead, tap into communities where you can really help drive the performance of your campaigns by allowing people to share positive programs that they are really engaged with, like what we saw with ASICS, Backmarket, and Michaels. We believe that these 3 trends are going to be the next leaps in growth, and look forward to how brands use these cookieless marketing techniques to build stronger customer relationships. So, Francois,
And we are,
close it up.
yeah, we are reaching the end of this presentation. Thank you so much for listening. Before we go, we want also to offer a copy of the CMO Club report that we just discussed and how to build trust with consumers. So all you need to do is to copy my email address here and send me a message, and I would be pleased to send you your own copy. Thank you very much for your attention.